There is a question your soul cannot stop returning to. It echoes in the halls before you even realize you've entered the room. When you have Lilith in the first house, she is pointing at that door. She is pointing at the question. And the choice of whether to open it has always been yours. But if you do, if you turn the handle and let yourself cross the threshold, you will find a mountain waiting on the other side. And every mountain casts a shadow. The higher the peak, the longer the dark that follows it. Most spend a lifetime running from that dark, never once turning to see where it leads. But the shadow was never the destination. It was only ever a finger pointing upward. This is the initiation of Lilith in the first house. Not because the path is the same for everyone who walks it, but because each of us carries one mountain that will not stop calling us by name. In traditional astrology, the first house is known as the house of identity. It governs the body, the self, the personality, and the way we first meet the world. But I believe that's only the surface. Beneath those meanings lies a deeper question. Not, who am I? But, what happened to the self that existed before it learned who it had to become? Before language, before a name was placed upon you like a collar, there was a body, and the body was already speaking. It entered rooms before you did, announced you before your mouth had ever opened, was read, was measured, was decided about, and you were not consulted. This is the part the books will not tell you. The first house does not begin with who you choose to become. It begins in flesh that learned its lesson long before the mind arrived to give that lesson a name. How did it feel to simply be seen? Did the air grow thin around you? Did your skin become a door you learned to keep half shut? Some bodies learn the lesson of disappearing, to enter a room the way smoke enters, without sound, without claim, gone before anyone could ask it to leave. Small enough to be forgiven for existing at all. Other bodies learn the opposite incantation, to become so loud, so unmistakable, so much that no one could land the first blow before the body had already armored itself into something untouchable. 2 spells, one wound underneath them both. A body that learned, before it had words for the learning, that to simply be was a danger it would spend a lifetime negotiating. This is the mountain when Lilith stands in the first house. Not the mask, not the role you were handed and told to wear. Older than that. The body's first, wordless knowing. I am not safe here, simply as I am. And the mind, ever loyal, ever desperate to protect what the body already feared losing, did what minds do. It built an altar to performance and laid the true self upon it as an offering. If I become what they require of me, perhaps then I will be allowed to remain. This is the shadow. Not because the true self was ever wrong, but because somewhere in the dark of the body, truth stopped feeling survivable. And here, exactly here, the initiation begins. Lilith does not ask you to invent a new self. She asks you to walk backward through the chains, to the body that existed before it learned it had to be earned. This is not punishment. This is a summoning to stop building a self out of borrowed permission. A call to stop mistaking the armor for the skin it was forged to protect. And beneath all of it, a pull toward the truest freedom there is. Not becoming something better, becoming unbearably, irreversibly real. And this is where the initiation truly begins. The choice to stop looking away. the choice to see what Lilith has been pointing toward all along. You can turn the handle, or you can walk back through the door. But if you stay, if you choose to ask the questions that remake you, who would you be if your body had never learned that being witnessed was a wound? What did you armor or erase to be granted permission to stay? And what becomes possible if you finally answered honestly? Because Lilith has never demanded you change. She has only ever asked one thing. Are you willing to see? Everything that follows begins with your answer.